This audiobook recorded for my sweetheart Yeva. Astrid Lindgren. Lotta wants to grow. Daddy says that before there were any children in the house, everything was peace and quiet. The noise started the minute Jonas was big enough to bang his rattle against the edge of the crib. Jonas is my older brother. I'm called Maria, and our little sister's name is Lotta. Jonas made noise on Sunday morning when Daddy wanted to sleep. Since then, Jonas has been making more and more noise. Daddy calls him Big Noise. He calls me Little Noise. I'm not nearly so noisy as Jonas. Sometimes I'm quiet for hours at a time. When we had another baby, it was Lotta. Daddy calls her Little Nut. I don't know why. Mother calls us by our real names, Jonas, Maria, and Lotta. But sometimes she calls me Mia Maria, and so do Jonas and Lotta. Our last name is Newman. We all live in a yellow house on Troublemaker Street. Right now, Lotta is furious because she isn't as big as the rest of us. Jonas and I are allowed to walk all the way down to the square by ourselves, but Lotta isn't. Jonas and I go there every Saturday to buy candy from the storekeeper. But we always bring some back to Lotta because we have to. Our Saturday last spring, it rained so hard that it looked as if we would have to stay home. But we took Daddy's big umbrella and went off just the same. At the market, we bought jawbreakers and bubble gum. We sucked on the jawbreakers while we walked home under the umbrella. Lotta was watching from the window. Poor Lotta. She wasn't even allowed out in the yard because it was raining so hard. Why does it always have to rain? Lotta asked. So the vegetables can grow and we can have something to eat, Mother said. But why does it have to rain on the square? Jonas asked. To make the candy grow. That made Mother laugh. That night, when we were in bed, Jonas said to me, Mia Maria, when we go to visit our grandparents, we aren't going to plant carrots in our vegetable patch. We are going to plant candy. Carrots are better for the teeth, I said. We can water them with my green watering can. The candy, I mean. It made me happy to think about my little green watering can. It stands on a shelf in the cellar in my grandparents' house in the country. We always stay with them in the summertime. You'll never guess what Lotta did when we were there last summer. Behind the barn is a big manure pile. Grandparents' helper, Mr. Johnson, takes the manure and spreads it on the fields to make things grow. What is manure good for? Lotta asked. Daddy told her, things grow better if it is spread on the soil. It has to rain too, said Lotta. She remembered what Mother told Jonas when it rained so much that Saturday. That's right, Lotta, Daddy looked pleased. That afternoon, it started to rain very hard. Has anyone seen Lotta? Daddy asked. We all shook our heads. No one had seen her in a long while, so we started to look for her. First, we looked all over the house, in the closets, in the attic, in the cellar, but no Lotta. Daddy got worried. He had promised Mother he would look after us. She must be outdoors, he said. We went out to the barn. We looked in all the corners and all through the hayloft. No Lotta. Next we looked behind the barn. There she was, in the rain, sopping wet, standing right in the middle of the manure pile. What on earth are you doing there, little nut? Dad exclaimed. I want to grow and be as big as Jonas and Maria, Lotta said. Sometimes Lotta can be very childish. All we do is play. Every day, Jonas and I play games. We let Lotta play with us when we are playing games she knows. But sometimes we play pirates and don't want Lotta to be with us. She is always in our way and keeps falling off the table, which is our ship. Then she cries and she wants to keep right on playing anyway. The other day, Jonas and I were playing pirates, and Lotta wouldn't leave us alone. So Jonas asked her, Don't you know what to do when you play pirates? You stand on the table and jump and you are a pirate, Lotta said. But there is a much better way, Jonas told her. You lie on the floor under your bed and you hold still. Why? Lotta wanted to know. You just lie there pretending that you are a pirate and you keep on saying over and over, more food, more food, more food. That's what pirates do, said Jonas. Lotta believed this is what pirates do. She crawled under her bed and said, more food, more food, more food, over and over again. Jonas and I climbed up on our table and sailed away on the sea while Lotta stayed under her bed saying, more food. It was almost more fun watching Lotta than playing pirates. How long do pirates have to lie under the bed saying more food? Lotta asked at last. Until Christmas Eve, said Jonas. Lotta crawled out from under her bed. I don't want to be a pirate anymore because I think they are stupid, she said. Sometimes Lotta is a big help in our games. For instance, when we play angels, guardian angels, that is. Then we need someone to protect, so we protect Lotta. She lies in her bed while we stand next to her, moving our arms. We pretend that we are flapping our wings and flying and protecting her. But Lotta doesn't like that game much either. All she gets to do is lie still again. It's the same thing she does when she plays pirate, except that she lies under the bed then. Sometimes we play hospital. Jonas is the doctor, I am the nurse, and Lotta is a sick child, lying in her bed. But I don't want to lie in my bed, Lotta said, the last time we asked her to be the sick child. I want to be the doctor and stick a spoon into Mia Maria's throat. You can't be the doctor, Jonas said, because you can't write a description. What can't I write? Lotta asked. A description is what the doctor writes. It tells you how to take care of sick children, said Jonas. Jonas can print, and he hasn't even started school yet. He can read too. Jonas and I got Lotta to lie down in bed and be a sick child. How do you feel, my little girl? Jonas asked. He sounded just like the doctor who visits us when we have the measles. More food, more food, more food, said Lotta. I'm pretending I'm a pirate. Don't be stupid, Jonas screamed. Stop it! We won't let you play if you're going to be so silly. Lotta settled down and became a sick child again. She let us put a bandage on her arm, and Jonas held a big empty spool of thread against her chest. Through the hole on the spool, he could hear that her chest was very sick. He stuck a spoon in her mouth. He could see that she was very sick there too. I have to give her a needle, he said. Once when Jonas was sick, the doctor gave him a needle so he would get well again, and that's why he wanted to give Lotta a needle. Jonas picked up a darling needle, which we made believe was the kind the doctor used. But Lotta didn't want a needle. She kicked and screamed, "Don't put a needle in me!" "Oh, silly, we're only making believe," said Jonas. "I'm not really going to stick you. Can't you understand that?" "I still don't want a needle," Lotta howled. That almost stopped us from playing hospital. "Well, I'm going to write out a description anyway," said Jonas. He sat down on the table and wrote with a crayon on a piece of paper. He printed it in block letters, but I still couldn't read it. That is how it looked. Sick girl should have care. Sick girl should get needle from Dr. Jonas Newman. Jonas and I think it's fun to play hospital, but Lotta doesn't think so. Lotta is stubborn. Our daddy is a very funny man. When he comes home from his office, Jonas and I and Lotta meet him in the hall. But our daddy laughs and says, "Good heavens, how many children I have!" Once, when he came home, We hid behind the coat rack and were very quiet. And Daddy said to Mother, "Where's all the noise around here? Are my children sick?" Then we jumped out from behind the coats, laughing. "You mustn't frighten me like that," Daddy said. "There has to be a lot of crashing and banging when I come home. Otherwise, I get worried." Once, two trucks bumped together on the street right outside our house. And the crash was so loud that Lotta woke up from her nap. "What did Jonas do now?" she asked. Lotta thinks that Jonas makes all the noises in the world. Lotta is so little and has such chubby legs that Jonas and I like to cuddle her. But she doesn't like that much. There are lots of things Lotta doesn't like. Last week she had a cough, and Mother wanted her to take cough medicine. But Lotta just closed her mouth and shook her head. "You're being very stupid," Jonas said. "I'm not stupid," Lotta said. "You're stupid because you won't take cough medicine," Jonas said. "When I take medicine, I make up my mind to take it, and that's that. When I have to take medicine, I make up my mind not to take it, and that's that," said Lotta. She closed her mouth tight and shook her head. Mother patted her on the cheek. "Well then, my poor little Lotta, I guess you'll just have to lie there and cough." "Good, and I won't have to sleep at all," said Lotta happily. You see, Lotta doesn't like to go to bed at night. Neither do I. But our mother has funny ideas. At night, when we are wide awake, she wants us to sleep. And in the morning, when we want to sleep, she wants us to wake up. Lotta should have taken that cough medicine after all, because the next day her nose was runnier than ever, and she was coughing harder and harder. Mother told her that she couldn't go out. She asked me to go to the 5 and 10 and pick up something for her. I ran all the way, and while I was standing there waiting for a clerk to come, Lotta walked in. Her nose was running worse than ever. "Go home," I said. "I won't," said Lotta. "I like the 5 and 10 too." She sniffed, and finally a lady standing nearby said to her, "Don't you have a handkerchief?" "Yes, but I don't lend it to strangers," was Lotta's answer. Once Mother took us to the dentist. Jonas and me and Lotta. Mother had noticed that Lotta had a small hole in one of her teeth. The dentist was going to fix it. "If you are a very good girl at the dentist's, I'll give you a quarter," Mother promised Lotta. Mother sat in the walking room while we were with the dentist. First, he looked at my teeth, but I didn't have any holes, so I had to go back and wait with Mother in the waiting room. We sat for a long time waiting for Jonas and Lotta. Finally, Mother said, How strange! Lotta isn't screaming. After a while, the doctor opened and Lotta came out. Have you been a brave girl? Mother wanted to know. He pulled a tooth, said Lotta. And you didn't cry? My, what a brave girl you were. No, I didn't cry, Lotta said. You're really a very good girl, Mother said. Here is the quarter I promised you. Lotta took the quarter and put it in her pocket. She looked very pleased. Let me see if it is bleeding, I asked. Lotta opened her mouth wide, but I couldn't see any missing tooth. He didn't pull any tooth, I said. Yes, he did. On Jonas, said Lotta. Then Jonas came out with the dentist. I couldn't do a thing with your little girl there. She wouldn't open her mouth, said the dentist. We have to be ashamed of that kid everywhere, Jonas said as when we were going home. But I hardly know him, said Lotta. I won't open my mouth for people I don't know. Daddy says that Lotta is as stubborn as an old mule.